Good evening, everyone. This is the Planning Advisory Board meeting, September 30th, and the time is 6 o'clock. At this time, I'll read a roll call. Members, when your name is called, please announce present. Lawrence Blevins. Present. Edward Evans. Michael DePietro. Present. Dan Mason. Elizabeth Rossborn.
Present.
And myself, Gus Kurtz. With 5 members present, we have a quorum. Do we have anybody on Zoom? Is Edward on Zoom?
Not yet. Not yet. Might be.
Okay, I'd like a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second. Motion's been made and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? The agenda is approved. And at this time, a motion to approve the minutes from September 17th. And second?
Second.
Motion's been made and second to approve the minutes from September 17th. All in favor? Aye. Any nays? Motion is approved. Before we start with the PAB meeting, I want to provide the context of the Planning Advisory Board, as we are, a lot of folks may not be familiar with our work. We are a volunteer board of 7 members appointed by the county executive. Each member comes from one of the 7 council districts, and we make our advisory recommendations on master plans, zoning maps, and capital budget and programs. Tonight's agenda will start with a brief overview from the Office of Planning and Zoning before we hear from the public. The Planning Advisory Board received a long briefing on Region 8 on September 17th, and the recording of that meeting is available on the Region 8 website. In our public hearings, we listen and note to your comments. The Planning Advisory Board will not make any recommendations tonight on zoning changes. OPC staff won't respond to comments or questions tonight. The staff will prepare a summary of all the comments received, and this board will deliberate and make our recommendations on the Region 8 plan and our comprehensive zoning changes in our meeting on November the 5th. An additional meeting may be needed, and that will be held on November the 12th, if we do not conclude our deliberations on the 5th. So at this time, we'll turn the mic over to Eric Kerry, and he's going to give you a brief overview of Region 8.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And thank you all for coming tonight. Thank you for everybody being part of the process. It's been a long year, so I know it's been a lot of discussion on what I thank you all for the motion participation. As Mr. Chair mentioned, my name is Eric Kedron, Senior Planner for the Region 8 Plan. So during this process, OPD worked closely with an appointed stakeholder advisory committee, some of which are the members on the audience tonight, so I'll give a special thank you to them who are here and who have been giving countless hours throughout the whole year, talking about zoning, transportation, and a bunch of different aspects within Region 8. Really helped make the Region 8 plan what it is today. And as mentioned 2 weeks ago, we gave a briefing to the Planning Advisory Board. We did a lot of talking and staff. So tonight we're going to be quiet. We're going to listen to you all, and we're really going to take note and understand your comments. This meeting, as well as the previous presentation, will be put on the website. So again, at the September 17th meeting, we have an overview of the Region 8 draft plan. Again, just to kind of hit some big bullet points. One big thing we've heard out of the entire last year is the slogan of each South County World. And that's something that we believe is reflected in this plan. I would highly encourage everybody here to review the past year's work, as well as the draft. So and really be able to provide comments on it. We have, one thing I want to note is that the comprehensive zoning process for region A is only for region A. We don't look at any other part of the county. It's specific to this area of the county, and the recommendation within the region A plan or for region A. One thing I'd like to highlight from our previous presentation is that this is the comprehensive zoning change statistic. This shows what types of zoning are increasing, what types of zoning are decreasing. One thing that you may see here is the biggest increase we have is over 3,200 acres of open space being recommended to this plan. So we have seen a that helps really with, again, the slogan of each South County board, more open space. Respect to class size, helping out preservation of land, the importance of the a lot of changes also reflect the consistency aspect of the zoning regulations, which we touched on at the previous briefing meeting as well. If you want to know more about the different types of recommendations, I'd encourage you all to again review the previous meeting and let us know if you have any questions. And generally, not much is really changing in the region A. We've really done the best to align the zoning with what is currently not. We wanted to kind of essentially clean up a lot of the zoning. So the hub site is what we've referred to a few times already tonight. This is where you'll go over all your information about the planning process and really understand the different things, the draft plan, the zoning reviewer, and ability to also provide good testimony as well. So if you're here tonight and you don't hear everything in your designated time, or if you don't want to talk at all tonight, I highly encourage you all to still put your written comments in on our website, just so we can have record. And the more information we have from the public, the more we can present the county council. We're going to get that when it's started. And I would also note that the sign up for the region newsletter is something I would really encourage you all to do. That's under the stay involved section. That's where you're going to see all the previous notes for you. So where we are in the process. So right now, as you can see, we're towards the end, but we're not quite finished. So initially, about a year ago, staff was beginning to work on the community. That's when we did all the background research. We really do our best to understand the needs and the desires from the staff point of view, through different stakeholder reviews, initial outreach events, and we really built upon it. As we got to the middle section of the that's where a lot of work with the stakeholder advisory committee came into play. We had monthly meetings, we talked about various topics, and we really did additional outreach to different school organizations, the different stakeholders in the community, and we really wanted to make sure that the voices of the community were heard and reflected in this plan. I say often that the plans that we work on, we don't want to make a plan for one person or one administration or one group of people. We want to make it for everybody. It's a region plan that's supposed to encompass everybody in the region. Again, I really encourage you all, and thank you all for coming tonight. That's a huge step to really making sure your voices are reflected in this final document. But the planning advisory board is not the last. The last step is going to be county council. Up until the county council, everything is just simply a recommendation. Nothing's finalized, nothing's approved, nothing becomes law. Where it becomes law is once the county council approves it. So I would encourage you all to stay through this process. And when you get to county council, provide testimony that they're the lawmakers, they're the ones who decide what does and what does not happen. I really encourage you all to let them know your voice and your opinion, your thoughts. We get that. So more specifically, where we're at right now, the planning advisory board process is the first full point, September 17th, that was the brief. That's where we gave a general overview of region 8, the planning process as a whole. Tonight, 30 minutes, we're here, we're going to listen to you all. We're going to understand what your thoughts and opinions are. October 15th, that's when the online testimony closes. But we have still about 2 more weeks, a little more than 2 weeks, for you to tell your friends, your family, your neighbors, anybody and everybody needs to provide a comment. Please do so. And let us do so by October 15th. That way we can get everything collected. Get the time about the board, so they can read the whole time of November 5th. And as Mr. Chair said a minute ago, November 5th is where we're going to begin the deliberation, where there will be the PAD recommendation, everything that we talked about recently. There will be when the county council, there'll be a staff recommendation, there'll be a stakeholder advisory committee recommendation, and there'll be a county advisory board recommendation. The county council, is broken down, everything to the top. It is represented. One other thing I'd like to note is that there are the libraries, Water and Deal, have a copy, a physical copy of the draft plan. Also have an opportunity to have online. If you need assistance for going in person to provide comments. I would really encourage you all to use our library. They're actually. And that's as I said, you can have a brief, but we're here to listen to about we did a lot of talk over the last week. We'll do more talk. One thing I would report, Mr. Chair, just the microphone a little bit, sweat out a little bit. Try not to move too much, our little legs may fall off. So just try to make sure we get close to possible. We want to get it. Mr. Chair.
Eric, thank you very much. So I'd like to ask at this time, any members of the SAC, please stand. We want to acknowledge all your hard work, the many meetings and hours that you put into going over all the planning changes that were requested. Thank you very much. Mr. Cheney, I did get your letter explaining what the SAC was thinking on their decision. Thank you. At this time, the Planning Advisory Board now opens the public hearing. Every speaker will be afforded a couple of minutes per property. When you're called to speak, please come forward to the front and provide your name. And if you know the change number of the zoning change number, and the address of the property that you're speaking about. If you are on Zoom, please provide your permission to unmute. And then you will be able to hear you at that time. Out of respect for everyone's time, if you want to comment and it's going to take a long time, please put it in writing and submit it. We will review all written comments. And you have until October 15th to do that. How it works, I'm going to call 3 names. Those people, please come up and one at a time, take the mic and begin your speaking. And then after those 3 people are done, we'll call 3 more. So it looks like there's about maybe 20 plus speakers that have requested to speak. If you have not signed up to speak prior to tonight, we would love to hear from you. Jesse, right here, will take care of that and put your name on the list. We can do that right now. So at this time, I'm going to call 2 speakers, Tripp Fulton and Tom Parlett, and they're both speaking on the same property.
Members of the board, good evening. My name is Tripp Fulton. I represent BC 214 LLC, the owner of the property for change number CZRA EDW 000. This parcel is located about 300 feet west of the intersection at Route 2 and 214. Directly across 214, just 90 feet away, is the Edgewater Village Shopping Center. It's got a gas station, a grocery store, restaurants, a liquor store, banking offices, and general offices. Now, catty cornered across the 214 and 2 intersection, roughly 1,000 feet away, is another shopping center. It's the market at South River Colony. It too has a grocery store, pad sites, a liquor store, a gas station, and a sizable strip mall. The county's comprehensive plan, Plan 2040, identifies both Route 2 and 214 as principal arterial roads. And I don't think there's any real question that an intersection of 2 principal arterial roads requires or otherwise causes the immediately surrounding area to experience high traffic and be relatively commercial in nature. The applicant for this application is seeking a zoning change for a specific parcel on 214 to go from RA to C3, and we think it's entirely appropriate to make that change. Candidly, I think it's for this particular reason that the land use designation that has designated this particular property not to be rural, but to be small business. And consistent with that designation, that land use designation, and the request we are asking for in this application, the physical attributes of this parcel too support a commercial. The parcel, although it's 6 acres, it's almost 1/5 of a mile long. It's incredibly narrow. There's no real potential for residential development. There's no real potential for farming or agriculture. It's quite literally on 214. And candidly, the uses in a rural zone that are ancillary to a rural zoning designation also can't be done. It's not country-like in any way, shape, or form. You can't hunt it, fish it, or ride a horse. It is quite literally 1/5 of a mile, narrow parcel smack dab on 214. Just with if there's a question as to whether or not a zoning change can take place on this parcel by virtue of the fact that it's part of the planned unit. I don't think that inquiry is necessarily before this planning advisory board, but I would submit that it's our position that the board is fully empowered to make a recommendation of a change in zoning to this parcel despite its inclusion in the plan. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Tom Bartlett.
So they call me.
Okay.
I'm glad to be here. We've been, Parla family has been in Arundel County for over eight decades. I'm here speaking particularly in regard to this property that was heard about. That my property is aligned to the south part of their property. I have 9 acres along the whole line of their back property is our residential house. We have 4 other houses in that community. And in that community, we're been there for almost 7.5 decades. So we're here in support of the usage of this land. This land is basically locked in between the fire department where they were going to be, in the corner, and that part all the way up to the county park property. That's just acres. There is water and sewage adjacent to their property. So we have the corner, my property is the corner of the county park's future use and their back lot. So they can't go any further south of where the 6 acres is located at. I believe it would be useful to the community to add to the businesses that are there now, which are basically auto body, auto repair shop, Ace Hardware, veterinarians services, and then the county property. So I don't believe it's going to be an impact. The combination of the two, the county property, this property, be combined in the same entrance using the sources where that's there. And I would rather have that be developed this way with this particular gentleman. We have Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Fulton? I'm more curious about the PUD overlay on that property. Can you submit some more of your comments in writing about that? I know you were kind of, thank you. Okay, at this time, Jonathan Ship, Michael Shear, Anna Cheney.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Schiff is not here yet. Mr. Schiff is not here
He's
yet.
not here yet, okay.
Good evening. Thank you all for your service tonight and throughout this process. I served on a couple county boards. Work it is, I appreciate it very much. I'm going to focus my testimony tonight on CZR8LPN 0003A and B. My name is Michael Dyer. I live down here in Midlothian. My concern with this intersection is Bayfront Road and Southern Maryland Boulevard. There looks like it's a proposal to increase the development at this intersection. I pulled some stats from our county police department. Over the past 5 years, there's been 45 crashes at that intersection. I was in one of them. I got T-boned at that intersection. And that cost our county a car because I was driving a county car at the time. Adding to the density of that intersection, I just asked that the board and eventually our county council give sincere consideration to reconfiguring that intersection for those safety concerns. I also want to talk generally about increasing development, especially in this area of our county from a public safety perspective. We all know that our public safety agencies are stressed. They are low in staffing. That is both our police and fire departments. There's presently more than 40 additional vacancies on the line levels in our police department than there were 5 years ago. Our fire department is similarly situated. My personal experience was waiting 25 minutes for an ambulance last year. I was struggling to breathe due to acute food poisoning. Those issues are exacerbated by the long distances in our South County area. From a police perspective, there's basically 3 officers assigned below Central Ave that have to handle the entire area. The 10 to 15 minute drive, lights and sirens from Wasing to Galesville. You're waiting for police services. Ask me how I know. This is a problem that our entire county faces. Our public safety agencies are doing their best, but I just ask that this board take that into consideration when they're considering additional density and development into the present. Thank you.
Okay, while you're here, you also signed up to speak on 0400.
Sure, I can just, that was an additional couple of houses on Brookswood Road. There's already abandoned properties in that area. I would not support adding additional residential buildings when there's already opportunities for folks to live in that area. It's already an area that is having issues with the roads and things like that, transportation wise. So I'd be opposed to all that. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
For Brian to speak tonight, and we're comfortable. Stated very much being able to serve as the chair of Region 8C. And I think during the process, we did make a mistake. And it was a difficult property for us. It came in the very last minute. It was CZR8 LCN 0400 and 1 Bayfront Road. This property is located in the private conservation area. It is surrounded by hundreds and hundreds of feet of preserved farms. Land has been preserved by folks who are in the ancestors and the Brooklyn region. important to me that we really take a look at the character of the area, the neighborhood, and what we're trying to preserve. And throughout the entire SAC, it was very important to the whole group, regardless of where they were from, within the region, that we maintain as much rural, open space, land use as possible. We feel that that was a very important aspect to our area, and that's what makes it so valuable, and so much desired. And so many more people want to come to Region 8 because of that. They want to come and visit. And we love the visitors. And we love to make sure that we preserve as much of the rural agricultural domain possible. We found out from the developer on this particular lot that the 2.6 acre lot zone RA is completely wooded. And as being part of the preservation area of the RA, the intended use was told to us as childcare, which is allowable in RA zones. And it's also allowable, permitted in-house residential business, also has a special exception for a childcare facility up to 60 children. So pretty dense use of that RA land does not need to be zoned for the intended purpose. So I think we did make a mistake while the SAC said, being I would ask you to remain RA. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. So SAC's recommendation of us being is incorrect. RA is with your personal preference. Okay, thank you. Stuart Cheney and Elizabeth Cheney. And Hamilton Cheney.
My name is Stuart Kenny. And what I'm talking about here is CZRALTN 0200. Bayfront Road. Correct.
Correct.
All right, so I'm a long-time resident in Logan. I've been living in Logan for, I don't want to tell you how many years, a lot of years. And I live on Greenock Road, which is right next to where you come to go onto this property or onto the intersection there. And I go take this road every day at least once. And when you pull from Greenock Road along the gas station out, and when you pull up to the stop sign, when you're getting ready to go, you got traffic coming from the right off Route 4, coming down Route 4, and then you have traffic coming from the left on 258, and then you have traffic coming from Route 4 going north to get on to 258. And you have traffic coming behind you because there are people coming out of Granite Road who are also going in the same direction. So you pull up to the stop sign, and you look across the street where you gotta go left. I take a left there, and you pull up to the stop sign, and you look at it, you see the do not enter over there, which makes sense coming off Route 4. And then you look to the right, and you gotta go to the right if you want to go to south on Route 4, you gotta go to the right. And so in summary, there are 5 different passages, different traffic coming from different directions. And I'm telling you, I have, like, officer here, I have a lot of folks, and he had a hard hit, but I've had a lot of close calls. So I am virtually opposed to this rezoning, which will increase the traffic in that area. It's dangerous. It's the most dangerous intersection that I know of in any one of the county. So with that, I am request for that property remain RA and not get rezoned. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Elizabeth Cheney and I live in Lothian. I watched the Planning Advisory Board meeting on 9/17/25 on YouTube, and particularly the section of the meeting on CZR8LTN 0400 Bay Front Road. It didn't really sound like people were too familiar with the site and the description of the area of things that was meeting in that meeting. I've lived in Lothian for essentially 40 years. During this time, I lived on Arundel Road, 59, the Brookswood Road. As you heard from Stuart Cheney, my father, he's right around the corner on Front Road. So, I have directing a road for the year. I own a business half a mile from my Bayfront. I've been operating a dog kennel there for 22 years. Property is owned in RA. I applied for and received special exception in 2001 for this permitted use. Multiple times a day, every day, I traverse this intersection where 911 Bayfront is located. I would be willing to bet, hands down, that I go through this intersection more than anyone else on earth. First, I want to make sure you understand that this intersection is extremely dangerous. It is a rural area with speeding cars heading south on Route 4, taking the 258 exit. People are confused on the service road coming north off of Route 4 and don't recognize the stop sign. People driving south on Old Route 4 think it's a four-way stop sign, four-way stop, and get broadsided by a vehicle traveling east or west. In general, what we need is not more activity, but a circle. Second, if you aren't familiar with a specific location, I'd like to help you become more familiar. This intersection has trees on all four sides. Actually, wooded forests. There's no commercial activity at this intersection. As you head north on Route 4, on approach to the service road, the border of this property is all wooded, all trees. You see trees on both sides of Route 4 and both sides of the service road. What else do you see on approach this property coming from the south heading north? Right now, you see soybeans. In very close proximity to the southeast, the north, and the east, you have several farms in the county's agricultural preservation program. In no way is the property located at 901 Bayfront appropriate for C1 zoning. The appropriate zoning designation is RA as it stands today. To be clear, if the safety of the intersection is taken into consideration, I wholeheartedly support the desire for the landowner to open the child daycare center or another permitted use on RA zone property. Appropriate businesses are allowed here with a special exception. It is my understanding that child daycare is permitted on RA zone property with special exception. There is no reason to change the zoning. To do so would be an injustice to this area and contrary to goals set forth by the citizens of Region 8, including the #1 goal of conservation of land in the Green Infrastructure Network. Please take a look at the Green Infrastructure Network document and the locations of the property. Thank you very much for hearing me today.
Thank you.
My name is Hamilton Cheney. I am speaking on CZR8LTN 0400. And since my sister Elizabeth went a little over time, I'll go under time to make up for it. So I think you've heard from a few folks. I won't be repetitive on what they have said, but I feel strongly that this property should remain RA. And one of the reasons that hasn't been mentioned that I think it should remain RA is because there is no, it's currently, as I said, wooded, undeveloped, there's no development on it whatsoever. So, and if we take it to SB or C1, you can develop it to a much higher degree. As we know, one of the fundamental problems with that is that it would require a much larger septic system in commercial zones. And you definitely don't want to do commercial zoning on septic if you can avoid it. If it's already there, well then, you know, it's historic, it's been there, that's one thing. If it's a new build, then you don't want to rezone something that then you're gonna have a septic problem in the future. There is no sewer near here. This would be appropriate zoning in a sewer area. So I would ask that, the PAB take that into consideration, the fact that there is no sewer here, and it would be on simply up zoning to a much higher density potential and, uses would be, contrary to the benefit of what the area is and what people are asking for. I too support the landowner in the request for childcare, but it is allowed under, RA zoners. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, this time, speaking on the same property, Bill Hager and Jonathan Ship.
Mr. Chair, my client and I will not be entering any comments in this matter at this time.
Thank you. Mike Lofton. Edwin Wellerzak.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I'm Mike Lofton. I'm a 50-year resident of Holding House Road, right around the corner of Harwood. And I'm not speaking about property. I'm speaking about three areas of the plan that I think are not ignores significant threats to quality of life. One is our drinking water. As the plan notes, almost all of us are on well water. We all have our straws in the same lab. And there are some significant threats, particularly in closed well landfills nearby. And there are two on Sands Road. One is PST and the other is the county road, at the intersection of Sands Road. And both of those are unlined rubble landfills. Monitoring wells for decades now have shown contamination in excess of federal levels. The PST landfill is only kept, these are unlined, so the waste could go into the aquifer with some ease. The PST landfill is only kept from having water rise up into the waste by a very elaborate, expensive pumping system that diverts water from the waste. If that were to be abandoned, that waste came up into it. What is contaminating monitoring is because of the high. I think that needs to be called out. The county needs to be a powerful state for perpetual monitoring and maintenance of those systems, and that's not done here. The other is wastewater treatment. Many of the folks that live along the Patuxent report sightings of human waste in the river. You have very inadequate wastewater treatment systems that are there. You know that there's an intention to engage and bring public works in. And you need to do a sense of urgency. I've been hearing about this for at least a decade. There's no sense of urgency solving this. It needs to be done in a way that does not light the fuse on mass development conversion of what is low and moderate income housing into $1 million townhouses close to Capitol Hill. The other is public recreation. The plan asserts that public recreation can originate is and nothing needs to be done. It's not. I mean, that assertion is basically on the fact that in council districts, so in district 1 through 6, if you're within a half mile of a park, you're adequately served. In council district 7, where we all live, it's 5 miles. I don't know. That's 10 times as far away. So if you set a totally different standard for people, not hard to meet it. That's crazy. And I would urge you to cite that and pull it out. There are a number of recreation facilities in this region that are presented as parks. They're not. Jump Bay isn't a park, it's a sanctuary. Go read their webpage. It's open 4 days a week. It closes at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, it's wonderful. I go there often, it's in that park. The Deal Park, which is open, drive by, it. They're done. That's a disaster. No, but it's not in district. The rec center and Edgewater, all these are cited as recreation amenities for this district. They're not in the district, they're not open. So that aspect of the park is vision, and the idea that somehow we're adequately served with public recreation is false. And we're urging you not to adopt a plan that endorses that solution. Sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Can you talk,
2 years.
can you talk into the mic? I can't hear you.
My name is Ed Mullins. Davidson for 42 years. Here today to discuss the commercialization in general of existing family residential RA communities through the conversion of single-family residents to assisted living facilities, housing up to 16 residents in our RA district to legislated conditional zoning use with no public hearing before the county issued its zoning approval. Public hearing before the county administrative hearing officer are typically requested for uses which require variance exceptions approval for conditional use. However, in RA zoning approval for this conversion, approval is determined administratively by the Office of Planning and Zoning without a hearing, leaving impacted residents with little or no recourse, question or challenge the propriety and sensibility of a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day a week, 365-day per year commercial enterprise operating, in my case, at 2014 Connemara Drive, a street within a community where children walk to the bus without sidewalks, has no parking restrictions, and county vehicles and trash must back down the street in order to service the 8 houses on the street, because there are no turnarounds, save for our driveways, or the adequate parking on a dead-end street, either for staff or visitors, parking, egress, service trucks, delivery, food, other needed medical services required of the assisted living community. This is not isolated to the street I have lived on for some 42 years. It's occurring with seemingly no regard for the impact it has upon the residents. There seemed to be nothing in the draft report, and I applaud the committee for what's in the draft report, but there's nothing in the draft report that even addresses the realities of controlling or monitoring such an unrestricted development. I am therefore requesting on this record that planning and this committee, this advisory board, consider review of these factors in its advisory role, signaling to our lawmakers that their efforts without controls has created an anomaly, allowing what can only be viewed as a backhanded mechanism to establish business enterprises at the expense of existing homeowners. I believe our county executive pledged to make Anne Arundel County, quote, the best place for all, unquote, by, quote, putting communities first, quote, and respect the strategy to engage communities from every sector to practice transparency and data-driven policymaking. I offer Anne Arundel Code 1810-106 and State Code 19-1801 of the Health general article to this panel for review. I suggest this panel, in this report, issue to county legislators to address the community needs and zoning in these types of situations and don't allow them any say in what happens within their community, but leaves the decision strictly in the hands of the zoning board. I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Can you spell that street, Connemara?
Connemara, Mara, M-A-R-A Drive. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. That was 2014.
2014,
Thank you.
2914, I'm sorry. 29.
Okay, Maisie Howard. Blanche Meason. And next will be Jonathan Broderick.
Mandy, you're here, I'm seeing you. If you're online, please use the raise hand feature of the reaction, so I can change your icon. In the meantime, with your click. Like you're speaking, I'm Blanche Mason, I live up along 50, and I'm here to talk about 3 or 4 properties. I think it's actually 3. One of them is PLR 8 DVS 0201. The other 2 are right together with it. These are properties that are trying to be zoned R1 that are actually in an area that's all RA, and we would like to keep it that way. I'm the president of the Nan Carlos Property Owners Association, and our property abuts this piece of land, several properties, and we do not want this transition from RA to R1. Most of the property in that area is 2 to 6 acres, and we want to keep it that way. And we're also very concerned about if that area is zoned R1, the road access into and out of there. Apparently that's not ideal, and if they, at some point someone thinks they're going to use the roads that are in our community, we will fight it as much as we possibly can. We do not want public access into our community. And that's all I have to say.
Can you repeat
Okay.
repeat the name, the numbers again?
I have 2 of them, PLUR8BCS 0201, and the other one is CZRVDVS 0003. And there's another one that's already zoned R1 that we would really like to have moved back to RA. That was recently zoned R1 and not done in a public way. We were under a different county administrator, and we had no idea that was happening this last week.
Okay, thank you. You also mentioned a community meeting.
And POA, we're a community of 11 houses. 2 of community members abut against this larger area that's going to be rezoned. We're thinking about it. We really are vehemently opposed. And there's access issues in that area. There's terrain issues in that area. There's flooding issues in that area. We really should not be converted to R1.
Okay, thank you very much. Did we locate Massey online? Mr. Broderick? through online or?
Mr. Roderick, if you're online, using the raise hand feature of the reaction to know switch information. If you're in the audience, you want to speak, feel free to come down.
Okay, we're gonna call Tripp Fulton back up to speak on two other properties. 865 Governor's Bridge Road and 478 West Central Avenue.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Kurt Fulton on behalf of Kurt and Christina Schwab. The Schwabs are the owners of 865 Governor Bridge Road in Davidsonville, New Orleans. That property is located at the southwest corner of Governor Bridge Road and Church Hill Farm Road. The Schwabs submit this application here, this evening, excuse me, it's application number CVRA-DSV 0011 for a very limited purpose. And it's, in order to have the ability to return their 15 acres back to what was for the majority of the 19th century, 2, 7, and 8 acre parcels. As I stand here today, there exists 2 single-family dwellings in the Schwab's property. On the eastern half, there's the large single-family dwelling that Mr. Schwab and his wife currently reside in. And on the western half, so to speak, up towards Governor Bridge Road is another modest single-family dwelling that has existed for many, many years. Currently in the RA zone, Mr. Schwab's got a piece of land with 2 houses. The only thing the Schwabs seek to do with this application is redraw that lot line, which initially provided that these 2 single-family houses existed on 2 separate 7 and 8 acre respectively parcels. Under the RA, they can't do that because with 15 acres, the density law simply doesn't allow it. Under the RLD, which is the requested zoning, they would be able to subdivide to accomplish that exact purpose. I understand there might be some concern up and down Government Bridge Road that this was some attempt to redevelop those 15 acres into something that they could do under the RLD, but that has never been the intent for the purpose of the Schwabs. It's really just to redraw a lot line that existed for many, many, many years up until the point in time in the early 2000s that for some reason or other, these 2 7 and 8 acre lots were merged. And with that, we respectfully request that this board consider granting the application to allow this particular 15 acre parcel to be rezoned up around.
Thank you. Question I have, so currently there's 2 houses on the 12.4 acres,
It's 15 acres, but yes, there are
15 acres, and are they individual lots?
No,
Are they all 2 houses built on 1 lot?
it is a 15 acre parcel with 2 separate, wholly unconnected, single family dwellings. They've got to be, I'm not even sure you can see them from each other dwelling. For many, many years, they were part of a family conveyance subdivision in which it was 2 separate 7 and 8 acre parcels. For one reason or another, those 2 parcels were merged in the early 2000s, but the homes still remain. So as we stand here today, it seems to make sense to the Schwabs to have these 2 single family dwellings for their own individual groups, which would be 7 and 8 acres if they went back to the original and long existing parcels up until the time.
I have a question on the 865 Governor Bridge Road. That's a separate tax bracket showing only 7.1 acres.
That is because it reflects the long-standing separate parcel nature of this piece of land. For literally the majority of time, this was 2 separate parcels. They had their own tax account. For some reason, they got merged. We're now seeking to unmerge them. There's no way to do this except to rezone the property as RLD because the density laws under the RA simply don't afford it by virtue of the fact they only have 15 acres. Had the Schwabs had 20 acres, we could go subdivide and redraw that line. We don't have that extra 5 acres, so we need to benefit essentially from the RLD in order to redraw that.
So how is it a tax bracket is this if it's combined?
I think it's a mistake at the State Department of Assessment and Taxation. Because currently, administratively, in the eyes of the county, it is 1 15 acre parcel.
Okay, because I just pulled up the tax.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And does the other tax bracket have a different address than what is on this one?
It might have a different premises address, but for purposes of the tax account number, all the mail that gets sent to this 15 acre parcel winds up in the same place. I'm willing to bet if there is a different address, it's just not used or it's forwarded to the current address on file with the State Department of Assessment and Taxation.
So the intent is to combine it, period.
The intent is to uncombine it,
Separate.
yes. Two houses, two separate lots. Currently, it's one big lot.
Separated, it's actually separated in the tax record, but maybe you're saying that somewhere else is showing that it's combined.
It was separated for many years. For some reason, it was merged on a subdivision plat. I suspect they never got rid of the now unused tax account when that merger took place.
Okay.
So it's just floating out.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now, you want to speak on 478 West Central Avenue?
I will. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Briefly, Trip Fulton again on behalf of Christopher Ryback, the owner of 478 West Central Avenue in Davidsonville. This property too is located on the primary arterial road, Route 214. Uniquely, this is a 2-acre parcel that's surrounded on two sides by the county's Reba Park facility, and to the east, let's say 2 parcels over by another W2 zone parcel. The current zoning for Mr. Ryback's property is RA, and we are requesting a W2 change in the zoning designation to W2. Currently, the parcel is improved with a single-family home and a large shed, which is used for the owner's nursery business. Long-winded way of saying this, a 2-acre lot in this particular location of 214 simply is not all that fertile. It is used for a commercial business. It's located across the street from a church. There is no farming going on here. There is no ancillary uses to a rural zoning designation taking place here. It is all but a commercial business with commercial incidences of use that fits more with the W2 zoning district we are seeking rather than the rural zone that it's currently encumbered with, so to speak. I think if you look at a map, you'll quickly realize that part and parcel with the fact that it's surrounded by an enormous county recreational facility, there aren't any residential homes like within a stone's throw of this particular parcel. It is very much tucked away in a string of parcels along 214 that fittingly should be either commercial or industrial in nature. For this particular use, we are seeking an industrial. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Okay. Is there anybody else that has signed up to speak other than with the Homestead Gardens? Okay, Michael Davis and Jennifer Sternakovich. Thank you.
My name is Mike Davis. I live on 2921 Connemara Drive. I'm talking about a property 2914 Connemara Drive. I think Walter's going to mention further. The concerns we have in the neighborhood is that the statute that had alluded to the state code 191-1801, the health general article to the panel and the estimate that we do. Right as of this moment, the statute allows for assisted living centers of the size equivalent to what is currently being developed in 2914 to be developed in every other home throughout the neighborhood. And to the best of our knowledge, throughout all of the county. Also, it provides a lack of safety coordination during the permitting process. The home on 2994 is being developed on approximately a 45-degree lot for 16 senior living members. So you can imagine the safety concerns, 45-degree lot for aged individuals attempting to stroll around the block. None of that has been taken into consideration. It's pretty clear that we have an existing immature statute that needs to be modified to limit the development of commercial assisted living facilities to more heavily developed arteries, since in fact our area is a dead end street. It also needs to be modified to permit only assisted living development in preferably one per development, as opposed to every other. Conceivable right now, the way it reads, that the entire community could eventually be taken over by assisted living. So please address that to the county council. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I have one question.
Yeah.
This particular house is I think this is a 5-bedroom. And it's a
2914.
and it's a residential home, correct?
Yes.
And it's at the end of a road.
No, ma'am.
Yeah.
It's pretty much in the middle of a dead end street where we have currently eight residents.
So there's 8 homes on this particular road, but this particular house has a assisted living business inside that home. Is that right?
I apologize.
There's an assisted living business inside that home, is what you're saying?
It does not currently have an assisted living. It's being developed. So it was a single family residential home that has been purchased for the express purpose of converting it into a commercial assisted living center. Right now they're permitted for 16 residents. So again, there are no limitations to stop them from doing that again, other than it's every other residential home in that neighborhood could be developed into this.
So there's a private entity that is purchased, who has purchased that.
Private entity has purchased the facility with the intent of developing it and selling it to a commercial company.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Jennifer?
Thank you. My name is Jennifer Rockfish. Carl's was developed farm and got converted into 11 houses. One of the issues we found was the already was getting rezoned because our neighborhood is constantly under stress to use our roads for them to access farms because of the old farm right away with 2 dead-end roads and a small private street. But there have been plans submitted before, specifically, we're right off the way. And their plans have been to use our neighborhood to facilitate these neighborhoods. So one of the reasons our whole neighborhood is speaking against rezoning is the address of the zoning applications to access the highway through our neighborhood. Right now, bought some of the acreage, trying to buy it. Maybe rezoning. The main concern is that to have these one neighborhoods access defense highway through the easiest point, which is our neighborhood. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. are Phil Hager and Brian Riddle.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the PAB. My name is Phil Hager, of Hager Land Use. I want to take a moment to speak to you about DSV 0008. The dental offices of Dr. Fazero and Waddell have operated at 3102 Davidsonville Road in Davidsonville for nearly 5 decades. As with so many sites in the county, this comprehensive rezoning process provides a convenient opportunity to bring existing uses into conformance with zoning and land use. This use, a dental office, is a commercial use within a community of RA property. It really needs to have a commercial zoning classification. As an alternative to C1 or C2, which would be typical for a medical dental office, we submitted an application for SB. SB, known as small business, provides a great opportunity to accomplish what needs to occur without disrupting the existing uses within the community. This is exactly why we have a small business district. The landowners are comfortable with this designation, and both OPZ and the SAC concur. We hope that you will as well.
There currently still operates a doctor's office there.
That is correct, and that is what they're continuing to operate at. I'm now going to turn to DSV 0401B. I believe we're all familiar with Homestead Gardens. It's an important part of the fabric of the community of not just South County, but all of Anne Arundel County. Most of us see Homestead Gardens as a single entity, but it is more accurately described as a business complex comprised of several different business units. Some of these businesses predate zoning, some are legally non-conforming, some exist by virtue of a quirk in the code, and some exist through the flexibility afforded by the agritourism provision. Bottom line, all are legal. However, many are constrained by the fact that this very large commercial entity is zoned RA. At 40 acres, this is one of the largest businesses in the entire region, yet it is zoned RA. No business can thrive when forced to exist under these handicaps. Expansion, modernization, financial reorganization, most businesses take these capabilities for granted. Not so with Homestead Gardens. These basic business functions are difficult, if not impossible, to exercise at this location under these circumstances. It's vital that we give this important landmark business the opportunity and the tools it needs to survive. To that end, we applied for C4 zoning. It was the easiest remedy and the only option that could be applied site-wide that would make all of the existing uses legal. Both OPZ and the SAC felt that this was a little bit too big of a bite. So we altered our request in favor of a more surgical approach. We are asking for C4 in the central core of the complex, the section that absolutely needs C4, and we are buffering the area on either side with 2 areas of C4, C1. Once approved, this 40-acre site will consist of 5.5 acres of C4, 2 wings of C1, totaling 1.5 acres, and the balance, which is about 83% of the site, or 34 acres, will remain RA. This is a compromise, and although far from ideal, it will make critical improvements feasible. I have a exhibit I will leave for your review, and my client is going to be the next speaker, has provided you with another document in page size form. So as you can see, there's a wing on either side of the central area, serving as a buffer, 2 small areas for C1, and the core area for C4. The remaining area of the property, about 83% of it, will remain RA.
Any questions?
Could you say those numbers again? C1 on the left,
there'll be a small piece of C one on either side,
right, which is in total
which
acres,
totals 1.5, actually 1.4 acres.
before,
And
C-
the C four
C1.
area is 5.6 acres.
I'm sorry,
So the C one, the C four area in the center is 5.6 acres. And then the remaining portion of the site, 33.8 acres, which is 83% of the site, will remain RA.
so, and I'm sorry, you may answer this, I don't know. Why do you want to change this section, which I believe is your retail section, if it is operating now under an RA to become C4?
Yeah, our next speaker is the owner.
Sorry.
And so I think some of the, I'm happy to answer any technical questions, so what I'll just
That's fine.
after his presentation.
Riddle,
just
yes,
effectively
thank you.
question.
Any other questions for Mr. Hager? Okay, thank you. Mr. Riddle? Floor is yours.
Good evening, my name is Ron Riddle, and I'm speaking on the change ESB 0400. I am the president and CEO of Homestead Gardens business. And Mr. Hager, I think, captured the major point. I want to stress just a couple of key points that I recognize. Adjacent to our property, both to the east to the west, we have C1. We have a corner of the intersection of 214 and Birdsville Road, and to the east is a former gas station. Another point, and it's really one of the motivations that made me aware is that we've been essentially we're tax assessed and we're in every practice aspect of what we do is recognized. The motivation for the zoning request is as Mr. Hager described, is about aligning the use with the proper zoning. I don't necessarily look at us as non-conforming, but when you get into the technical aspects of what we do at our business, it's hard to fit where we operate in a traditional use in RA zone, which is nurtured against. When you read the definition, it does not follow. Business is 52 years, and like many retail businesses, it has changed over the years. The facility that we operate in that is in the yellow area, as you asked, that's a agricultural structure, it's a greenhouse structure, a government building that we built on over years, and at some point in the foreseeable future, that is my experiences with always pretty challenged because of the subject. We have no intentions of increasing the intensity of the property. We're not trying to develop to a different use for this trying to find business. So ultimately, if we don't even have a use stop. Those challenges, as we look to make improvements, will certainly require improvements.
Have you looked at the option of C3?
I rely on it, the guidance of Mr. Hager as uses that we
Hey, Mr. Hager, have you looked at the option of C3?
We did look at that, and there are some things that just don't really align properly with that. For example, one of the thoughts about the future is that it'd be nice to be able to offer coffee and do roasting on site. That's not allowed except in the C4. Things like that. So the use is consistent with what's already there right now. It's not a perfect fit, and this compromise is far from perfect, but we're trying to align things as best we can to allow, you know, one of the things we talked about at our last meeting is that it's impossible to get financing when your use doesn't comply with zoning. So it's vitally important that we have the ability to do that, so that when he goes to do modernization or reconstruction of things, or even in a future expansion and seek financing to do that, it's critically important that we have the zoning, a green light for zoning. It's also important to note that every other type of use like this in the region, all of his competitors in other counties are all zoned C4, and the facility in Spur Park is zoned C3, which is also.
That was my next question.
Yes. So there's C3,
Corona Park is C3?
but the activities there are in conformance with C3. So, yeah, there's more, this is a much larger complex and there's a lot more going on at this site than there is with one Vernon Park. This small area of 5 acres in the center needs to be.
Any other
It's-
questions? Any questions?
It's great to hear the use of it, the plans for your future growth and what your plans are, because it helps us better understand why you're asking for that. So I appreciate knowing that, because it is helpful.
There were some questions raised along those lines from some of the people we met with as part of this process. And I think there was some concerns that maybe it was being rezoned in anticipation of sale to some large outfit or something like that. You know, a design like this with 2 wings of C1, that's a very strange configuration. And nobody but my client is gonna want an alignment that looks like this. So I'm hoping that it's very clear that Homestead Gardens under this ownership plans to remain at this location for a long time in the future and is looking to build an investment in this property and an investment in the county.
Will that be enough?
Well, it's a matter of trying to strike the right balance between what we can get everyone to agree to and what we can live with. And we can live with this. It's not what we want, but it's what we can live with. Thank you.
I have additional questions. You were talking about roasting coffee, which Savannah Park has Rise Up right next door to Homestead. And that's legal, obviously, I mean, that's, aligning.
I never comment on another business because that's not my place to do, but we're not talking about, we're talking about roasting coffee on site in the old method of roasting coffee.
Okay.
Done under the agritourism process.
I'm sorry?
Agritourism, well.
Yeah, so that's an agritourism function at the farm,
Okay,
which is outside of the yellow designated area. We left that in the RA portion of.
So you can make beer, but you can't roast coffee.
I'm trying to figure
Any other questions from board members? I am going to say that I know everybody here probably loves your business and as I do, and hope you're a good neighbor. And I think the fact that I didn't see anybody here speak against it does carry some weight, but it's a heavy lift.
well, we have letters. submitted.
Thank you. Okay, we have a Dawn Miles. Once again, we would like to hear from everybody. If there's anybody that wants to speak and you didn't sign up, come down and see Jessica.
So just don't run out of here just yet. There were some pens at the podium. Want your pen down. Good evening. My name is Dawn Miles. I ended up in the 3 miles from along Sand Road. I am the of one of the family on my Sand Road. What I have is in open space zoning, that we would like. My question is, one, what does the open space zoning mean for us? why now? And how will we benefit?
What is the address?
Looking for the bring out the.
And there's Lothian, Davidsonville, Harwood, thank you.
So, we'll get back with you on that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other speakers? Okay. Just come up, state your name and the property that you're speaking in reference to.
It's not just really just a property,
Okay.
it's all along Sands Road. Sands,
Speak in the microphone so everybody can hear.
my name is Leslie Brown, and I live on Branch Fort in Harwood. And my big concern has been for decades now is all the truck traffic that we have on Sands Road. And it seems like it's never stopping. You know, what are they planning to do about all of these gravel sites and all of that? To stop some of this, because we've got pollution in there, and I think I spoke to you, Mr. Brown. No, okay, I thought I spoke to you, but I can't to look at the survey. But anyway, yeah, the noise is loud. They had stopped a little bit of the J brakes that these drivers use, but now I'm hearing it again, and the decibels are too high. Are you guys planning on changing any of this zoning? Because this has been going on for decades. I've lived on Branch before since 1986. And there's another young lady, I was hoping maybe she would be here, Dr. Garrett. She's lived on Sands Road, her family's lived on Sands Road forever. And we're tired of the traffic, so I want to make sure that nothing else is gonna be built on Sands Road and kind of put stop to some of those sand and gravel pits.
Thank you.
That's my viewpoint.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, with that, Jesse is going to put a slide up for information. The public hearing for Region 8 at this time will now be closed. The record for written testimony on Region 8 will remain open until midnight on Wednesday, October 15th. If you have more to say, please submit written testimony. And you can do that through our Region 8 hub site.
All right, so up on the screen, you can see the link for the hub site, aacounty.org/region8. As Eric explained at the beginning of the meeting, that hub site has a lot of great resources, including the reporting from September 15th, where there's a more in-depth explanation of some of the highlights of the plan. Also has a link to submit written testimony. If you've heard the link here tonight and you want to have some comments that you want to come up and say them, or you just want to put more in writing, you can use that written testimony link. And yeah, if you have any specific questions, please feel free to contact staff through the email on the screen or through the phone number.
Thank you, Jesse. And thank everyone this evening for your time and your input. Thank you very much.
Motion to adjourn officially.
At this time, we have a motion to adjourn and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any nays? This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.